What's good? What's cracking? What is up? Happy motherfucking New Year. It is your girl, Irene, the motherfucking Passion Queen. Welcome to the Queendom, where we talk about life, love, sex, and everything in between with a heavy focus on BDSM and the BIPOC community. Happy motherfucking Tuesday. If this is your first time, happy Taco Titty Tequila Tuesday. If you buy a girl tacos and tequila and tell her she pretty, she just might, maybe, possibly, with consent, show you her titties. All right. All right, y'all. What's good? Hopefully, everybody had a great holiday season. Everybody brought in the New Year safely and everything like that. I'm pretty sure everybody has set either goals, resolutions, whatever you may call them, for how you want 2025 to look. Now, my question is, have you set your sexual resolutions for 2025? Have you set those goals that of things that you want to achieve sexually, whether it's as an individual, as a couple, or however, what are there fantasies that you want to possibly try out this year? Are there different kinks and things like that that you want to, deep dive into? What are those things that you would love to happen for you this year in 2025? So this particular topic was inspired by a post from Boobtionary off of Instagram. I did link the post in the description below if you wanted to check it out yourself. Um, so let me kind of read through some of the things that they have and let's talk about them, right? So the first set of resolutions that they suggest, because they do give you suggestions, is for self discovery. One, explore your body through regular self pleasure and learn what brings you joy. Two, practice body positivity by celebrating your unique sensuality and embracing your reflection. Three, try a new self care ritual such as sensual massages, using aromatherapy, or taking relaxing baths. I love this one because this is something that I have always encouraged my clients to do as a sexual health educator, because a lot of women, not all, but a good chunk of women, because of society or growing up in, with a super religious background or what have you, have never taken the time to explore their sexuality just within themselves. And so it is a huge disconnect that most women have. And I've always encouraged women to learn their bodies, however that's most comfortable for you. Maybe it's you standing in the shower, first off, make sure you set the scene, whatever makes you feel good. Make sure you check the lighting out, aromatherapy, burn some candles, listen to some music, set the mood. If you like listening to, or not listening to, or well, you're technically listening to, and or reading erotic novels, pick that up. Your girl got a couple of them out there if you need some inspiration. But set the scene. Get yourself feeling comfortable. If you like wine, pour you a glass of wine. Have you a nice meal. You know what I'm saying? And just take time to learn yourself, learn your body. Um, and you can either do this solo in the shower, or another great way to do it is in front of a mirror. Um, One of the first episodes that we did here on the Queendom, we talked about doing a self boudoir photo shoot. That's another great way to kind of get in tune with your body. Because not everybody is comfortable, booking an actual photographer for that, because there you may have some areas of insecurity, or maybe you just are a little bit more modest and you do not want to, take those kind of pictures in front of somebody. Totally understandable. Get you a tripod, preferably one that has a ring light on it. Especially, thumbs up if you can get one that has a multicolored ring light. Play with those colors. Do my biggest suggestion: cut cut the video camera on. Set your phone up, turn on cinematic mode, and pose. Have you some sexy ass music going in the background, and just pose. Just love on yourself, pose. And the cool thing about doing it that way is all you have to do is go back through watching the video and take screenshots of the poses that you love. Make sure you hit those poses for a good 5 to 10 seconds just to make sure you catch it at the right time and there's no blurriness. Would definitely be a suggestion of mine when it comes to that. Find you some new pieces of lingerie. You know what I'm saying? Just get in tune with yourself. Allow yourself to discover the sensations that you like. Um, and going to different events that encourage or that teach about different like kinks and fetishes by yourself is totally okay as well. Sometimes you have to do shit alone. Sometimes you will not always be able to take your homegirls with you. You know what I'm saying? So if you can find a dungeon in your area, or maybe just some online classes in general. There's a great app called Plura, Plura, um, and they post events around the country. And all of these events are centered around some level of sexual health education. Um, I learned about this app when I went to Six Down South back in September. Yeah, back in September. And I still look at the app. They have a lot of information on there with some really cool classes and stuff like that. So that's another great way to, get out there and learn some stuff, right? Okay, so the next set of resolutions are for couples or partners. It says schedule regular intimacy check ins to communicate desires and boundaries. Plan a date night every month with a focus on connection and intimacy. Explore a new experience together, like role playing, trying new positions, or attending a workshop. Scheduling intimacy for some people sounds like it is the most unromantic thing possible, but I think I think it can be extremely important, especially if you both lead very busy lives. Maybe you all have kids. It's always something going on. You know what I'm saying? It's super easy to not only forget about yourself, but it's super easy to forget about your partner at times too. Not that you're doing it intentionally, but life happens. Life gets busy. We get caught up in shit and we kind of forget about, some of those things that are really, really important. So making sure that you have those check-ins with your partner to make sure that their desires are being met, as well as making sure yours are being met. If maybe y'all tried something and you really wasn't feeling it like that, you know what I'm saying? Those check-ins help to be like, to, set those boundaries or some of those hard limits of what you like, what you don't like, stuff like that. Making sure, like I said, planning date night and making sure date night is like really about connecting, not necessarily just about, going out to eat and coming back home and fucking, but like actually spending time with each other, building a connection with each other, taking the night slow, not rushing through the night, but really just enjoying the intimate parts of being with the person that you love and care about. And then, of course, once again, exploring things together. So, like I said, the workshops, you can go to those workshops with your partner, trying new positions. There are a ton of books, online references out there if you want to kind of explore some new things. Um, Role playing, trying new products, whether it's like rope, floggers, maybe some level of sex toys y'all want to introduce into the bedroom. This is like kind of the perfect time to do those things when you're trying to, build your repertoire with your partner and figure out what you want to do next and how far you want to go and things of that nature. Um, Hopefully, y'all are not at a stagnant place. I personally believe that in a relationship, like you all should always be willing to explore. Nobody says that you have to do the same thing all the time. And just because you like something that may be a little extreme doesn't mean it has to happen every single time that you have sex. So just because you like, being tied up doesn't mean that every single time, you all do something, you have to be tied up. But it's nice to be able to sprinkle it in every now and then, right? All right. So the next set of resolutions are for sexual confidence. So learn more about sexual health by reading books, taking courses, and consulting a sex coach. Commit to having open, shame-free conversations about sex with your partner or friends. Invest in lingerie or outfits that make you feel sexy and confident. So to the first point of reading books, taking courses, consulting a sex coach, all of that is absolutely amazing. There, once again, it's a ton of resources out here. Um, I have one resource, which is my Sexual Awakening Journal, which helps people get past any blockages that they may have when it comes to sex, kinks, sexuality, fetishes, all that kind of stuff. And then we had a professional dame on here. Um, a couple of months ago. And Genevieve Bliss, she has her self exploration, a different way journal. One thing I really love about her journal is if you are really interested in learning about BDSM, this breaks everything down term by term. I really, really do like how she took the approach of introducing BDSM to somebody who may be what we call vanilla, somebody who is not familiar with the lifestyle in itself. So this is another great resource. There are courses out there. There's a wonderful website that is linked in my link tree if you would like access to it called Beducate. Beducated, sorry. Beducated is a great resource for all types of courses. They have hundreds of courses on there for a ton of different things, from being able to, talk to you, open up the lines of communication with your partner, all the way up to if you would like to be in a polyamorous relationship, threesomes, anal sex, anything you can think about, they have a course on it. Some of the courses are as little as 20 minutes long, and then they also have some courses that are like 8 hours long. Just kind of depends on what depth you're trying to get into for whatever topic. Having open, shame free conversation with your partner as well as your friends is extremely important. One of the biggest things that I have learned in the 14 plus years, going on 15 years, that I have been doing sexual health education is if a person feels comfortable, if they feel safe, they are way more willing to explore. Because 9 times out of 10, especially with women, what keeps most people, especially women, from exploring new things, trying new things, is the fear of being shamed. If by any means, if, for whatever reason, they feel like the space that they're trying to have this conversation in, the space that they're trying to experience certain things in, is not a safe one. It's not one where things will be protected and it could possibly get out, then they're less likely to do anything that they would be ashamed of if it got out. Which is understandable because, nobody wants to be out here in the public eye looking crazy. But being able to have that safe space with someone can unlock a side of you that you probably never knew existed. Because once you feel safe with a person to explore, to even as simple as having the conversation around something that you want to explore sexually, it can awaken a lot of stuff in you. It opens up the floodgates to the possibilities of endless pleasure, and it is an amazing journey to be. It is an amazing journey to be on. I can tell you that. And then the last one, when it comes to sexual confidence, is lingerie and or outfits. Now, this goes for she, he, them, they, everybody in between. Whatever it is that makes you feel sexy, do not. If you don't like lingerie, then cool. If a moo moo make you feel sexy, baby, buy you 15 million moo moos and walk around that motherfucker like you the shit. Okay. Um, but finding something that makes you feel sexy, not necessarily I want to wear this for my partner, but something that once you slip it on your body, you just know you breaking hearts. You hide your husbands, hide your wives, hide everybody because I'm outside type shit. You know what I mean? Not type shit, Irene. Anyway, you know TikTok too much. Uh, but wearing things that make you feel sexy really can change your attitude, your mood, even simply wearing these things under your clothes. Nobody even got to know that you got it on, but just the fact that you can feel the fabric against your skin um, just puts another little oomph, another little extra something in your step. You know what I mean? It's a great way to complement an outfit. Confidence takes anything that you wear to the next level. And if you feel good in what you're wearing, I promise you, you're going to look good in what you're wearing. So that is super important because I know a lot of times we think about lingerie as something that we wear for our partners, but it should really be something that you wear for you, something that you feel good in, so that that confidence shines and you can just be the most confident, sexy person that you ever possibly could be. All right. So the next set is for pleasure expansion. I'm sorry. Experiment with new toys or tools to expand your pleasure horizons. Focus on non penetrative pleasures, exploring erogenous zones or different kinds of touch. Dive into sexual fantasies by journaling or talking about them with a trusted partner. So, when it comes to that first one, experimenting with toys, I know can be extremely um, daunting sometimes because there's so much out there on the market. Please know if you got questions, shoot me an email. I am more than happy to help you narrow down some items and figure out what's best for you. That way, you're not necessarily just wasting a shit ton of money trying to figure out what you like, what you don't like, things like that. Um, Also, coming soon to my Patreon account, which is also linked in my bio, in my link tree. Um, I will be doing tour reviews, so I'll be posting those to my Patreon. Um, my goal is to get the first set posted this month. I didn't said it. It's out there. All right. But yeah, so figuring out different things and keep in mind all of these tools and toys or whatever, they don't have to be anything crazy, huge, penetrative, or anything like that. You can utilize every sense of the body to figure out different ways of expressing pleasure. I also watched a video on beducated.com centered around pleasure mapping. So the idea of pleasure mapping is that it's you and your partner. One person is receiving, so one person would be laying down, sitting up, standing, whatever feels most comfortable to them, and the other partner, who is the giver, would be eliciting different sensations. This is not about penetration. It ultimately is not about orgasm or anything like that. What you are doing is figure out. Freak, I know how to talk. I promise I do. Figuring out the sensations that feel best to you. So it could be something as simple as massages to grazing your nails or your fingertips across someone's skin, using feathers, floggers, oil, um, a pinwheel, just all different types of tools that elicit that sensation of touch, and figuring out the different areas of your body that feel good. Because there may be spots in your body that you've never been touched before. That now that you're exploring this, you know, you and your partner are exploring every inch of each other's body. You found a new place to find pleasure in. And keep in mind, pleasure mapping is not something that you have to do in like you have to figure it out in one session. This is something that can be done over, months, weeks, however you want to do it with your partner. But the idea is to one, be able to improve communication with your partner. So the person who is receiving um, is encouraged to communicate. Say, I like this, I don't like that. Add more pressure. Instead of scraping or scratching, maybe just, use the tips of your finger, or let's try this, or let's try that, is the idea kind of behind pleasure mapping. And then also, as the giver, it gives you a chance to kind of slow down and really pay attention to the nonverbal cues of your partner, such as the way that they're breathing, their facial expressions, the way that their body moves when you do certain touches to them. All of this can really heighten the connection that you all have with each other, as well as figure out different ways to bring about pleasure that does not have to be centered around penetrative sex and or orgasm. Um, and the last one, diving into sexual fantasies by journaling or talking about them with a trusted partner. Once again, creating that safe space where you feel comfortable to talk about all the things that, go through your head that you're like, oh my God, this would be great. If you are an erotic reader, you like erotic novels, dark romance, all that kind of stuff, there may be scenes in those books that make you go, huh, maybe I would try that, and being able to have that moment with your partner and be like, listen, this is what I read and it's good and it sounds fun. So I think I would like to try it. And then talk about, what it may look like, or maybe y'all want to watch porn together and figure out some things, or whatever the case may be. Maybe y'all watch a movie that has a lot of sex scenes in it or something like that, and you see something that looks very interesting to you. Or maybe you just have a wild imagination and you just randomly text your partner like, hey, can we do this? But being able to have that conversation, regardless of whether or not you actually achieve these fantasies, having the conversation and feeling comfortable with your partner is highly important, because the connectivity that you all can have just by being able to be open and free with each other is definitely, definitely next level. All right, for sexual wellness, prioritize regular sexual health checkups and contraception planning. Um, so y'all make sure y'all out there getting tested. Okay, okay, we on a regular basis. Okay, 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 okay. Um, and then know what your plans are. If you ain't trying to have no babies, okay, do what you got to do so you ain't got to have no babies. Um, and then be open and honest with your partner. If you all are not monogamous, be honest about it. If you ain't got no plans of being monogamous with this person, be honest about it so that both of you all have a choice in how that goes down, and how y'all want to operate sexually with each other as well as with your other partners. Um, Making sure that communication is there, make sure everybody feels heard and seen, and nobody has to feel like they're being bamboozled in a situation. Set boundaries and practice saying yes or no with confidence. Your no should be just as respected as your yes. So if you don't like it, if you don't want to do it, and you say no to your partner, that should be it. Now, can there be a conversation? Sure. If there's a conversation of why maybe you don't like this, because maybe it's just something that needs to be done differently. Sure. But you should never have to feel like you're being coerced or forced into doing something that you do not want to do. Um, so be confident in your no, stand firm in your shit, and stand 10 toes down. Commit to healing from past sexual shame or trauma by seeking therapy or support. One of the things that I say in my sexual health, my sexual wellness awakening journal, um, is that while I am not a therapist, my book is not therapy. I definitely believe it's something that you can take to therapy with you, especially if you are fortunate enough to have a kink affirming therapist, because there are some therapists out there that do specialize in sexual trauma and things of that nature. And sometimes it's extremely important to be able to communicate with somebody who understands that area as well as is super familiar with kinks and fetishes and BDSM and all the things. Because trying to have a conversation with a therapist who does not understand how a kink such as choking for someone who might have been in a abusive relationship that involved choking is pleasurable to them. If they don't understand it, it's kind of hard to really get the help that you need. Um, and so finding someone who aligns with those values and understands that lifestyle is extremely important in that area. All right. So some sexual resolutions for community growth. Join a sexual wellness book club or discussion group. Um, where there's a will, there's a way. Baby, I promise you there's an area for all of this. Also, I am building one myself. If you would go to my link tree, you can go to my Discord, and join my Discord. And in there, we will have discussions and topics, things that we may talk about here on the show, or there may be some things that stay strictly in the Discord, because I do want that to be a safe space. I want people to feel comfortable, so that they're not judged. I don't want anyone to feel like they gotta worry about somebody running around telling their business. Because I swear to God, if I find out that anything that is said within this group has reached some ears outside the group, your ass is grass. Simple as that. Because I need everyone to feel comfortable in this setting. Um, so once again, that is in my link tree if you would like to join. Sharing your journey with a partner, friend, or trusted coach for accountability and support. Advocating for inclusive, comprehensive sex education in your community. Woo. Okay. So sharing your journey with a partner, and that now that is very, in my opinion, important because I think sometimes, and I mean, even the past, things that you've been through can be extremely important to communicate with a partner because there may be things about how you operate sexually, so to speak, that don't make sense to your partner because they have no context of why. Um, and I understand that sometimes we should be able to just say, I don't like this, I don't do that, or whatever the case may be. And that should be the end of it. But sometimes adding some context to it can be extremely helpful. And then it also gives your partner the opportunity to show up for you in whatever way that you need them to. So being able to have those open lines of communication can be extremely helpful. Um, Having a friend or a coach, if you are trying to achieve something this year in your sexual wellness journey, having other people to hold you accountable to it can be extremely important. I remember at one point I was working with a friend. I worked with a young lady, and we ended up being friends. At the time, she was married, and there's no other way to say this, but it was almost like I was her accountability person to make sure she had sex with her husband on a regular basis. Because, like I said, life happens. People get busy. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you forget. You know what I mean? You feel like you just had sex 2 days ago. You actually look it up, and this shit. It's been 3 weeks. So, in that sense, I was her friend. It wasn't like I went up to her on a regular basis. Did you fuck your husband this week? It wasn't that. It was just the level of conversations that we would have. And this was very early on in my career with sexual health and wellness. So it was really just me having these conversations with her as I was learning different things. And for her, it was like, oh, maybe I need to go try that with my husband, or maybe I need to have that conversation with my man, or whatever the case may be. So by me having these open conversations with her about things that I was learning, it encouraged her to make sure that she stayed intimate with her husband, which was I didn't know in the beginning. And I think he was at he came to some function that we had at work, and he said something about it. And I was like, oh, well, you're welcome. Happy to help. Didn't know I did, but that's awesome too. Um, and the last one about advocating for inclusive, comprehensive sex education in your community. Now, that's a hard one. I'm not going to lie. As somebody who has tried to figure out the best way to do that, coming from a small town in Mississippi, um, in the Bible Belt, where the main thing that they talk about is keeping the nipple between your legs until you get married, but then nobody gives you the rundown saying that, hey, sex should be pleasurable even if you decide to wait until you're married, because that's totally your choice if that's your decision. Um, so, but you can help to build a community in your area if you have a hard time finding um, a place. You know what I mean? There are so many different platforms out here where people can meet up, or you can connect with different people and be able to build a community centered around learning these different things. So now I will say, if this interests you, if you like I said, I did post the link to this particular post from Boobtionary in the description. If you go in to the post, they are offering a sex vision board party, virtual or in person, on January 25th at 2 p.m. And I think it's 2 p.m. Eastern. So if that's something that interests you, I definitely highly encourage you to do so. If I'm not mistaken, it was absolutely free to get your ticket for that. Because I definitely did sign up because I thought it would be something interesting to do. But yeah, so those were some of the things. Oh, I do have some other notes. Uh, 5 tips for prioritizing your pleasure. And a lot of this kind of hits on a lot of the points that we talked about just now, which is one, getting to know your sexual self. Explore what turns you on, body and mind, so you can confidently share your desires with your partner. Once again, if you don't know what makes you happy, what gets you in the mood, what gets you there, how can you guide your partner and to give you the best pleasure possible? Making time for sexploration, dedicating just 5 to 10 minutes daily to discover your desires. Small moments can lead to big pleasure. I will be a little transparent. One of my favorite moments um, that I take a lot of pride in, that just makes me feel really good, really sexy, like every single day, is my skincare routine. And not just like my facial skincare routine, but I'm talking about my fragrance routine might be a better way to say it. From what I shower with, to what I moisturize my skin with, to what I spray on my body to smell good. Let me tell you. Because I like to walk around smelling like a bakery. I want that man to smell me and just want to put his mouth on me. Point blank period. I want to smell like an edible dessert. And I have fallen into this world, and it just, I don't know, it makes me feel really, really good. It's times I don't even leave the house. But I'm gonna do my layering system. I'm finna put on this lotion and this oil, and I'm gonna do the body sprays and the perfumes, and I'm gonna just walk around this bitch smelling good as fuck to my goddamn self. But it is so much fun, and it changes my mood, and it makes me feel really, really good. So something as simple as that. Everything doesn't have to be about touching yourself in a sexual manner. It's those little things that just make you feel really good um, throughout the day. And that's one of them for me. Dare to chat with your partner or friends about sexuality. Talked about that several times throughout this episode. Spark your imagination with erotic meditation. Turning into your sense, Tuning into your senses can awaken vivid erotic imagery. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and visualize a scene. Focus on sounds, textures, and sensations. One of my favorite ways to do this is by listening to audiobooks. A lot of the novels, erotic novels, dark romance, whatever the case may be that I read, I do the audiobook, and I love it because it helps to engage my imagination. And you can also do this via reading. The reason why I like the audiobook is because of the readers. Being able to hear the different voices can sometimes like really just lock in the visual aspect of what's going on in the story. I know when I read, I make up the sound like how everybody sounds in my head anyway, but being able to hear it, because 9 times out of 10 it's from the perspective of the writer, what these individuals sound like, I think it just makes it a little bit better for me personally. So being able to do that, um, maybe you're not necessarily a writer per se, but maybe take some time and write out some scenes that sound fun to you. How you would like your partner to touch you, like step by step, what you would like to happen. Like visualize an amazing night with your partner or partners. What does that look like? How does the night start? From the moment you get dressed to the moment y'all do whatever y'all do, whether it's going out on a date or whatever have you, or maybe it's them coming home and you already dressed in something real sexy with the candles lit, music going, I mean not candles, but food, different like foods and stuff out to play with the different senses. Like, what does that look like to you? You know what I mean? Playing around with that imagery in your head and then bringing it to your partner so you can bring it to life. Do it. Just try. Just try it one good time. And then last but not least, make sure you're educating yourself. There's always more to discover from anatomy to techniques. So expand your pleasure potential. Just because you learn about something does not mean you have to do it. Just because you learn about something does not mean you have to do it. For example, when I was at Sex Down South in September, I got to see fisting up close and personal. They gave a full on demonstration with the do's and the don'ts and the this and the that. Is that something I plan on doing? No, no, it's not. No, fuck no. Okay, it is nowhere on my list of shit to do. But it was interesting to learn about. It is information that I now have in my head. Will I ever use it? Doubt it. Highly doubt it. Don't ever see it being something I'm gonna use. But now my knowledge has been expanded. Now it's something that I can definitely train or talk my clients through if ever the conversation was to come about. I don't know that it will, but I have the information just in case. Um, so educating yourself about different things is always just it is something good to do so that you don't have to be blindsided with information or blindsided if your partner decides to, talk about it or whatever the case may be. Because you may learn about it, you may go to a course about it. When I stayed in Orlando, there was a dungeon I went to several times because they gave classes. The classes were like $10, right? You go to the class, they did bondage. I remember we did a class on cupping, fire play, um, whips, like went to a couple of different classes. And a lot of times, if you go to a class, they'll offer you a discount to actually go into the dungeon at night, which they did this particular night. And so went into the dungeon, got to experience a couple of other things. Um, and it was a very interesting night. You know what I mean? I realized it was some shit that just wasn't for me. And I'm good. You know what I mean? And so we've had that moment. Um, we've had that moment and now I have the knowledge, and that's all there is. I don't have to do any of those things. I don't have to repeat them. Whatever I did try, if I didn't like it, I don't have to ever do it again. But the beauty of knowledge and trying is to at least you can definitely confirm that that is not of your wheelhouse once you know what it is. So I should have said this in the beginning that this wasn't going to be a full hour tonight because I just wanted to come on, give you all this information, start back slow. So this is the first one of 2025. We are going to every other week episodes. So I will not see you all next Tuesday, but I will see you the Tuesday after that. We will have some great and interesting topics, some guests coming through, talking about a lot of different things. And of course, y'all will see my friends again because I know I can tell which episodes people like the most. And it's normally when I got my friends up here and we having some real candid conversations. And I love that because I love my people and I love the fact that they are comfortable enough to come in this space and share their stories, share their lives. So I'm definitely 100% appreciative to them. And thank you all. Thank you whether you're watching it live right now or you're watching the replay. I appreciate you all. Share this with a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend so they can go and subscribe so they can be here next time. Um, yeah. And outside of that, thank y'all for coming to my TED Talk. Sorry. Bye, y'all.